So today, Braden and I are tackling another project up at the Orchard Heights house. We have got some old wrought iron. So a couple weeks ago, we did a whole porch front design where we reinstalled a handrail that was made out of wrought iron. Jason sanded it down, painted it. But my father, a long time ago, well, actually, let me go back. When his mother was had passed, she was an amazing gardener down in California, and she had this beautiful, beautiful space, very large lot. She had some wrought iron type garden art. One was an old bird cage, and the other one was kind of like a lantern or a chandelier that would be placed on a table or something like that. So we're gonna give them some love with some cans of paint and pot them up. So we thought you would like to come along as we do this little project. So this is the wrought iron that Jason had repainted. It looks so good. It looks brand new. Eventually, we're going to take this and put brick on it, a brick veneer, and then redo this planter. I just wanted to show you guys the planter we did up together a couple videos ago, what it looks like now. It's really, really pretty. I love all the colors, and it's starting to fill in really, really nicely. I love the purple with the yellow and a pop of white. It'll be fun when it gets all grown up. I have Braden helping me on this project, but this is an old chandelier, I think, that sat on a table in the garden. This is very Spanish inspired. So my grandmother had a Spanish type bungalow house. I'm not sure what they're called exactly, but in her garden she had a lot of this wrought iron, and it's just gorgeous. So we thought we would give it some new life by giving it some paint. Then Braden and I thought about just putting pots in it and doing some more herbs. So in these little holes here, there was glass, and then they would put candles in at some point, which is really cool. And I'm sure this was hand forged, but it's really, really pretty. I thought, well, let's just put some pots in here. We found some vintage pots that we're gonna put in, and then just do some herbs or something like that. Braden wasn't sure what, but we're gonna try it with herbs to start. We just have to keep an eye on watering it because it's such a small little area. This is the old bird cage, and look how intricate that is, and each weld on it. You can appreciate it if you're a welder. This was done, I think, probably, I don't know, maybe in the 40s. It's got this little latch that just kind of opens up. If I can get it, it needs oiled. And then you can open it, and then this is just like one of those baskets that you use for vegetables or something hanging in the kitchen. But we thought we would give this some love and put in we have one of Proven Winners lemon coral sedums and a few other things that Braden found, and get this kind of planted up, and we thought that would look really, really cute. This is our other project that we're going to be doing.
So you can really see the difference between the top, these two, and then these two.
Yeah, it's given a much nicer upscale look for sure. It'll look good when it's all done.
Yes.
Just imagine this all lit up, don't you?
Lit
in a
up?
garden, with all the candles and stuff. It'd be kind of fun to find some hurricanes to go in it and actually put some big chunky candles in there. Whether it's battery operated, I mean, they make some really good battery operated candles now, but I just think glowing in a little corner, a dark corner of the garden in the evening party would be so fun.
An evening party?
Well, like a summer, evening party, don't you think?
Yeah.
We gotta get this ivy off this tree, Braden. I know, it's a pretty tree though. So this is an old shed that was on the property that needs revamped. I mean, look at the doors are just tattered paint. I don't know what we'll do with it, but eventually what we're gonna do is make a little studio out here for the gardens and for YouTubing, editing, and then also for like all the things that we do as far as the Crowley house and weddings and stuff. But it's got a beautiful view of the vineyard is out there, and then we've got a peony kind of garden over here that's newly planted, and then the little greenhouse is right here, which we need to continue on because that side is a full-on jungle. Today we're using Rust-Oleum's black enamel. It's just super easy to use and covers up rust and things like that. This is what we used on the railing, and these are some plants that we got, which is really fun. I'll go through them really quick. Okay, so we got a lemon basil. Doesn't that look so nice and healthy? And oh, it smells amazing. I think this would be really good on chicken, like if you were just to do a little barbecue. So this little planter that we're planting up is going to be back kind of on the back porch where Jason has all of his barbecues. So that way fresh herbs, and the kitchen's right there too. So fresh herbs will be really handy to grab. At least I think that's where it's going. We did get some lemon thyme. This is just really pretty, and what I loved about it is it kind of cascades a little bit. We got two of these, one for the bird cage that Braden's starting to work on now. Hear him banging away. We got some pineapple sage. This smells so good. So good. I love this. Actually, this is really good for cut flower production. We will cut this and use it in arrangements and stuff. I love any type of herb does really well, except for the small ones. What else do we get? Let's see here. We got some lemongrass. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That's gonna be cool. And then I got, this is mainly for the garden, but I got a catnip. Partly because it's so, we have it at Crowley house, and I just love watching the cats around it. They just love it, and it's so entertaining that I thought, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and plant one in the long garden, and just for our entertainment. So you have to kind of keep a little bit of an eye on it. It doesn't get huge like some of the mints, like gets carried away, but it can, especially in certain areas. Seems like in our neck of the woods, it does kind of clump around, but I've never had it like just go gangbusters. So I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Ooh, we have a little bit of a windy day here, always when we're painting. So I'm going to go get the potting soil, and I'm gonna start potting these up while Braden is finishing painting the bird cage. I think it turned out really, really nice. It just kind of freshened it up a lot. It's so cute, and I think with the terracotta pots and the fresh flowers in it is gonna look amazing. Okay, so Braden's just cleaning this up, but this is the bird cage. It has a stand, and then this is the individual part. This would have been the part that comes out. It kind of slides in and out from underneath here, where you were gonna clean it out if you actually did have birds in there. I remember my dad had a yellow finch, I wanna say, in the house when he was young, and he remembers it, and I'm wondering if it was in this bird cage. I love birds, and I think, well, so does Braden. We both kind of have a love for birds. Chickens, ducks, geese, any of the waterfowl or just like birds that you could have around. I would love to have an aviator at some point, but we'll see. Our neighbors used to have a peacock, which they make a lot of noise. I'm not sure if I'd want one of those. Our friends over at Cog Hill Farm, they have a ton of really beautiful birds, and I don't know if I'll ever get to that point of having that many birds, but it is kind of a goal of mine to have a few kind of a little more rare birds, and we do love doves and things like that, so that might be something we venture down. I don't know, we'll see.
found him napping on the potting mix.
Started to get a little chilly out, so I went and grabbed just a light, I call them garden jackets. And so now I'm gonna pot up the little plants that we have, the little herbs. This is a really easy way to have an herb garden without, almost like a raised bed. If you had like a balcony or very small area, this would be a perfect idea, don't you think? Like a little kitchen garden on your back porch. Found his cat. He's in love. So this little bed that Braden was just watering and that we've put the new little herb garden in, we're actually gonna take tomorrow, we're gonna quit for tonight, but tomorrow we're gonna take this bed frame and we're gonna paint it up as well, and we're gonna be growing some tomatoes on it just for eating. This is literally right off the kitchen, and I don't have time to put a big huge garden in like I normally do. We have deer here on this property, so I've got to build a whole thing, and that's gonna be later. I can't do it this year, especially with all the other projects we have going on here at the Orchard Heights house. So for this year, Braden had the great idea of spray painting this little bed frame and then using it as a tomato trellis. We'll see how it goes. But I was thinking, like, if we did one here and one there and put the tomatoes between, like pretty shallow, then maybe Jason might have to help us with this one. I don't know. I just want to get them cleaned up, spray painted, put the tomatoes in, have this guy off, and then we'll just trellis between them. Yeah, I think using what we have, right? Early morning here at the Orchard Heights place, and what I'm doing is just getting this little makeshift garden put together. This is a side yard area technically of a house, and you know, those can always be challenging to do up and things like that, as far as a lot of people struggle with trying to get, you know, their side yards beautiful in a place that you want to go visit. This side yard is absolutely that way. You know, it's always very hot over here. So that's why I'm putting just a few squash. I have just a regular zucchini, a yellow zucchini, and a patty pan. Then I have the little herb garden that Braden made up yesterday, which looks really, really good. And then I'm just putting in a few tomatoes. I did seed in just a few of the green beans, and 2 different types. One is a French and the other one is just I think it's Blue Lake, which is a traditional type green bean that's a bush bean, and I like just eating those fresh, so I put those in. It's hard this year because we're not doing the big garden that I'm used to. Crowley House does have a garden that I have a whole bunch of stuff in that we will probably glean off of, but what I find is that I'm not there over there in that garden to get everything out, so I have to purposely go there to harvest big loads and then freeze and process all those items, so it kind of has to be like a day that I'm doing that. So anyways, this is kind of a temporary fix, if you will, on the side garden. Okay, so my job today is I'm going to paint up the old bed frame. Braden thought that would be really cool to put our tomatoes on, so I'm going to use that as a vine, and maybe even some of the squash might grow up. I don't know. I've never done that before, but Riley has done that with like cucumbers and things like that, where she's grown them up trellises. No, I don't have any cucumbers, so we'll see. Anyways, okay, I'm going to get to work before the sun gets too hot, and we will go from there. The bird cage is now dry, so we'll get that going. I think Braden wants to finish that when he gets home from work. So I'm just gonna kind of leave this for him, but I am gonna just clear it off and then get my bed frame laid out and sprayed and get it going. Well, I'm out of paint, so I just put a call in to Jason to grab me some more, and then we'll get this project finished up, and I think it's gonna look great. I love using things that are just like, you know, destined for the trash. Although this was a bed that was my sister's, who's older than me. She had bought it as an antique a long time ago when she was a young teenager, and so it's kind of fun to reuse something that kind of was part of our family life and what was in the house at some point. Let's see what else I can do. Nothing until Jason gets back. I'll have some coffee. So Braden and I got the bed all painted up, and we're ready to assemble everything and put it together. Hopefully this works. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna put it together, but Jay said if I was having problems, he could come help me, and I'm sure Braden's gonna have some sort of magical something of how to make this work for our tomato trellising. Okay, let's go get them and put them in place. And I were just considering where to move the bird cage, and we kind of like, you know, this garden here we're building out. We have a few things to put in here, but we thought it might look kind of cool. So that's where the bed is gonna go. And then we thought the bird cage might be kind of fun right here as a garden accent. What do you think, Braden?
Yeah, put it in place.
Might have to put some flagstones underneath it so it doesn't fall over. This goes on. So So today we are using, this is something we picked up a while ago, but this is Proven Winners Lemon Coral Sedum, which looks really cool in mass, but we thought partly because we may or may not water this at times, or you kind of forget about it. So sedum does really well with no water. The other thing that we're planting in is just some leftover Arizona Glow Thunbergia, which is really pretty little bloom here. And this is just left over from our hanging baskets. So Braden thought that would look really fun to just pop in a couple of them. They get very vigorous, and I think against the black will look really nice. Now we did pull one of these, just a terracotta pot to put into our basket because we just didn't have any moss or anything like that to kind of hold the soil in. So we thought that would look really cool. Okay, so we have it kind of leaned up against the wall. We're not sure exactly how we're gonna get this all put together, but I did go down. You guys, this is horrible. So because we've been so busy, and I said I wasn't going to have a garden this year, I really didn't put too much thought into it, but I did go pick up just a couple tomatoes because there's nothing better than having a tomato fresh from the vine with a salad or on a sandwich in the summertime. So I went down just to my local Wilco and grabbed a couple that were 50% off. I also got some marigolds just to kind of pop in a little color over here. This does get a lot of sun, so it's really warm. But Braden and I's plan is to go ahead and plant these up, 3 of them. Now, a lot of times when you're planting a tomato, and I know you guys have all done this and I haven't, but you want to take off some of these lower leaves and stems and then actually plant it a little bit deeper down in, and that just creates, actually they get little roots long here and then helps them to be a little bit more stable. We do get pretty high winds usually in the evening, which today we don't have any, which is really surprising. So that will just kind of help it stay a little bit better. But this is actually a pretty nice, there's a couple little flowers already on the tomato, so that's kind of cool. Soon we will have tomatoes, which I don't like a lot of them. They are an inflammatory food. They're like a nightshade. So if you have any autoimmunes, you got to be a little bit careful with them. At least for me, I noticed. I don't know about you. Leave me a comment if you do. There are something that I can't eat too many of. I can enjoy, I really like them, but I can enjoy a few, but that's it. So anyways, it's a fun project anyways. We're trying to use the old bed frame as a trellis. We're trying to use it as a trellis or a tomato cage. I don't know if we just bury the legs in the ground some and get it to stand up. We could do that, Braden. And then maybe use a stake or something.
Yeah, probably stakes on the side. And I don't know, we probably have pencil rods, metal ones.
This will get really, really full, but I kind of want that. And I think it turned out really nice. A little bit of a struggle to get it all done. So now all I have to do is plant a few of my marigolds. You can see my little beans coming up, and then I just have to move my pot of mint back into place. And this is going to be my makeshift garden for this year. Well, that just goes to show that you can have a garden pretty much anywhere and use anything to kind of trellis and do different things like that. And it was a fun little project to do with Braden as well, just kind of using what we had here on the property here at Orchard Heights. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Like, subscribe. We'd love to have you tag along. Share it with a friend if you think that they might like to tag along with us as we, create gardens and do all the fun things. But anyways, until next time, much success in all you do and grow, and we'll be seeing you shortly back here at either Crowley House or the Orchard Heights place. We'll see. I'm not sure what's next. Probably some wedding stuff. We have some crazy things happening. Oh, so many fun things. All right, I'm gonna water this in.